On the trading day we're talking about, January 9th to 10th, 2026, Bitmine shares slid about 2.4% in the afternoon and traded roughly between $29.62 and $31.68, ending around $30.32, day's range and current price reported. The stock's market capitalization at the time was sitting in the neighborhood of $12.8 billion. Its trailing P/E worked out to roughly 2.2-2.3, and the company recently reported a GAAP EPS of $13.39 for fiscal 2025. Volume that day was tens of millions of shares, around 37 to 43 million traded versus an average daily volume in the low 40 millions. Note, if you saw other numbers floating around the internet, don't freak out. Different sites sometimes lag or round differently. Also, there's a quirky dividend situation. I'll debunk that myth later. Why did Bmnr fall 2.4%? Short answer, crypto tremors and correlation hangover. Picture Bmnr like a little speedboat tied to a massive tanker called crypto market sentiment. When Ether and Bitcoin get cold feet, the tanker shifts and the speedboat rocks. On that afternoon, both Bitcoin and Ether were lower, and, perhaps more importantly for traders, crypto-exposed equities like Marathon and others were also down. Hedge funds and momentum traders tend to unwind positions across a whole basket of crypto plays when the top of the tower coins wobble, and Bmnr, now a big ETH treasury play, is squarely in that basket. The result, a 2.4% dip that looked dramatic on a headline but is still inside a day's swing that had Bmnr trading between $29.6 and $31.70. Imagine you own a fancy espresso machine, Bmnr. The global coffee bean market, ETH plus BTC prices, drops because a storm delays shipments. People start selling coffee-related stocks, roasters, cup pullers, espresso machine manufacturers, and your shiny machine's resale value dips along with the rest. Same here, but with crypto beans. The young Kim hire, why a CFO/COO plus board seat matters more than a fancy business card. Bitmine announced that young Kim was appointed both Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer and added to the board, effective immediately. The company's filings show the appointment took effect at the start of January. The company said Kim will be reporting to Chairman Tom Lee and will help execute our roadmap. Why is this a headline? 3 reasons. Dual role equal signal. Hiring a single exec to run both finance and operations signals that the company wants tight coordination between how they manage money and how they run the business. Think of it as pairing your CFO and COO like peanut butter and jelly so the sandwich doesn't fall apart. Board seat equals influence. Adding Kim to the board gives him, and investors who back him, direct influence over strategic moves, including the ETH accumulation plan and any capital structure changes. Credibility boost for institutional investors. If Kim has a solid background in finance/VC/engineering, as press releases note. That gives skeptical institutional investors one more reason to trust Bitmine's pivot from mining infrastructure to a hybrid treasury/mining model. It's like a pizza chain hiring a world-class supply chain manager who also knows how to open stores. The company signals it's moving from one-hit marinara to national franchise plus supply optimization real quick. By the way, if you are getting value from this video so far and want more like this, please like the video, it means much to us, and hit the subscribe button, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. The Ethereum Treasury Strategy. We own 3.43% of ETH supply. Yes, really. This is the headline that makes crypto folks go weak in the knees. Bitmine publicly disclosed that it holds about 4.14 million ETH, which the company says is roughly 3.43% of the circulating Ether supply, a massive stake for a public company. That announcement came as part of the company's update on crypto and cash holdings as it pursues a larger Ethereum treasury. Why this is wild. Most public companies hold cash, bonds, or maybe a little Bitcoin. Holding greater than 3% of ETH is a strategy more often seen in venture funds or crypto-native treasuries, not a widely traded public equity. If ETH rallies, Bmnr's balance sheet jumps hard. If ETH crashes, so does the crypto component of that balance sheet, and because the company is now valued partly on that stash, the share price will echo ETH moves. Imagine a small brewery that solved rocket science and owns a huge warehouse of ultra-rare hops. If hops become the new gold, that brewery's net worth explodes. But if the hops get moldy, you regret that warehouse. the January 14th proxy deadline, and January 15th annual meeting. There's a governance subplot with real teeth here. Bitmine asked shareholders to vote on increasing the number of authorized shares, with voting instructions and a proxy deadline of January 14th, 2026 ahead of the January 15th, 2026 annual meeting at Wynn Las Vegas. The SEC Def 14A filings and the company's investor materials make it clear they're urging shareholders to vote before the meeting. Why this matters? Authorized shares are like the kitchen capacity for baking stock. Increasing them lets the company issue more shares without immediate shareholder approval for each future issuance. That can be used for legitimate things, stock splits, acquisitions, strategic financing, or it can be abused if management issues lots of shares and dilutes existing owners. With such a big ETH stake and a growth roadmap, management may want the flexibility to issue shares to fund staking infrastructure, buy more ETH, or make acquisitions, but investors should always be mindful of dilution risk. The January 14th deadline makes this a near-term catalyst. Votes before the meeting can either clear the path for management's plan or spark pushback and activism. On January 9th to 10th, Bmnr's days range was about $29.61 to $31.68. Volume was roughly 37.5 M shares, compared with an average volume figure often reported in the 40-44 M range. And the stock has an infamous 52-week range from roughly $3.92 up to $161. Yes, that's a massive swing. The huge range reflects the stock's speculative ride in 2025, big ETH buying, big headlines, and big price runs. But could hit between $160 and $200 in 3 years. Why that matters to traders? High-end trader range equals call options, drama, and volatility risk. If you don't sleep well with big price gaps, this isn't a decent passive hold for you. High volume shows there's interest, which is good for liquidity, but it also means big sellers can move the price quickly. Note this as well. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Daniel 7 verses 25 to 27. Want more information about the books of prophecy? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe, and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage us to continue bringing to you more insightful videos. Do not miss out on our future videos. All I am asking is your subscription. Thank you for joining me today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's love.